Leave the past behind and start charting your new course. That's the message from the moon on this Sagittarius new moon we have happening December 19th, just 24 to 36 hours before our annual winter solstice. This new moon is a major pivot point for us in that it is signaling the ending of this energy of 2025 and the start of what we are moving towards in 2026. I am so excited to dig into it with you. But first, I'm Laura Kusto, and this is the Moon Method. Every week, I break down the best way to use the current energies above based on the phase the moon is in as our foundational starting point. So if you haven't yet, go grab my free guide. It's called the Moon Phase Compass, and it's full of simple foundational knowledge you can use forever to work with the moon's repeatable energy. That's at laurakusto.com/guide, and I will put a link for that at the top of the show notes. Okay, so we're talking about the new moon this week, but of course, this one is in Sagittarius, and it has all sorts of specific energy associated with it. Let's break it down in our 4 basic steps. Step 1, we're going to always start with energy, okay? The energy that we are in as we are working with energy matters. If we are not feeling good about what we're doing, if we're feeling angry or upset about something, that's just going to be putting out anger and upset energy into what we want to attract back into our lives. And nobody wants that, okay? So first of all, we're talking about the new moon. Now, the phase of the moon with the new moon is all about going within. It's the start of a new cycle, and it's really essentially, we say setting intentions, but it's like setting new goals. You can use that word too if that works better for you. So we're going to go within. It's a very inward energy. And this aligns so well with the fact that we've got the Capricorn solstice just a day or so later. The Capricorn solstice is really, it's a signal that the season is changing. And in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going into winter, which is typically a time when you go within. Capricorn also is the sign where we are focused on our goals and achievement. Capricorn, the animal commonly used to describe Capricorn is that of the mountain goat. And if you've ever watched a mountain goat stand on the side of a mountain, I live near the mountain, so it's an analogy that makes sense to me. But they literally stand on the side of the mountain and they chart their course visually forever, sometimes hours, maybe even days. I don't know. I've never watched a mountain goat. But then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, they will literally execute, and they will execute their move flawlessly for where they are going on the mountain. And so this Capricorn solstice is a signal. We're going into that Capricorn energy, and it is a signal to do that work of the mountain goat, to go within and really pause and do some deep, focused, deliberate, thoughtful, strategic work on where you want your life to go. So the fact that it lines right up with the new moon energy is fabulous. I also like that the new moon is technically in Sagittarius because the Sagittarius energy makes doing this Capricorn work a lot more exciting, okay? Sagittarius is expansive, it's adventurous, it's optimistic, and that's just a lot of fun, right? Okay. So I want you to tap into this energy as you sit down to work with the new moon when you decide to do that, whether it's right now, listening to the video and you're pausing it, going back and forth, or you're doing it later. Okay. So that's step 1, the energy, but make sure that you get into this really good energy and know that optimistic, positive, expansive Sagittarius new moon energy is going to help you come up with some really great new goals and intentions. And then that Capricorn energy is going to help you put in the work and do your part, do what you need to do to help bring those into your life. Okay. So step 2, we're always going to look at the facts around this energy. So, what else is going up in the sky? What do these placements mean? So Sagittarius, first of all, the moon phases, they have their monthly cycle, but they also move in these larger 9-month gestational cycles, which I talk about a lot. Not a lot of astrologers talk about it. But what it essentially means is, let's say this is the sky around the earth, and let's say Sagittarius is right here, and that's where the moon is on this new moon. Well, in 9 months, the second phase of the moon, the first quarter, is also going to be right there. right within a few degrees of Sagittarius. But it's going to be reactivating this new moon that we're having on December 19th, 2025. That first quarter is 9 months in the future, and it's going to be on September 18th, 2026. So you're going to be called to take action to essentially water the seed that you are planting on this new moon on December 19th, when September rolls around, September 18th, 2026. So as you're planning intentions, you may want to work with that date in some way. The second date I want you to keep in mind is the full moon that's going to be right around that point in the sky, which will be 9 months after that, so 18 months from this new moon, which is June 18th, 2027. Okay? And I bring these dates up. The full moon, by the way, would be a culmination point. So for example, if you are planning something big, like, and I'll get into this in the next point here, maybe Sagittarius oversees your 7th house of one-on-one partnerships, and you've been dating someone for a really long time and you're thinking about proposing. So you could propose on the new moon, which would be your intention to live your life with that person. You could plan your wedding. You could set the date for your wedding and reserve the venue or make some significant plans for your wedding. Take action on the first quarter, September 18th, 2026, and you could schedule your wedding for the full moon on June 18th, 2027. So that would be how you could work with that energy, again, for really big things that you're planning. Now, the second thing I want you to be aware of with this energy, the facts around it, is that for all of us, Sagittarius oversees a specific area of life based on our birth charts. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know astrology, you know this. So go grab your chart and go find it. So you know that you're working with that right area of life. So if you know, for example, Sagittarius oversees my 2nd house of money, set intentions around your money. If you know it rules your 10th house of career, you want to set something around your career, 6th house of health and routines, etc., etc. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you do want to hone in and get really specific, because by the way, that maximizes the energies, I have 2 ways I can help. The first is through a short course called Moon Map, and that you can find at laurakusto.com/map. It's $37. And literally you will get your map that you can use not only for Sagittarius, but every single moon phase that I talk about or you ever want to investigate for the rest of your life. And then the second way that I can help is through a membership called Moon Chat. Moon Chat is literally this, I give you custom messages right when you need them, every single moon phase membership, okay? It's $19 a month, and a link for both of these is at the top of the show notes. So, okay, so step 2 there. We know that we are dealing with a new moon. We know that it's the start of a cycle, and we've maybe dialed in the specific area of life. All right, step 3, we're going to get into now the meaning of the energies around this new moon. So, new moon in Sagittarius, at a new moon, the sun and the moon are together. So they're both in Sagittarius. They're right around that 28, it's between 28, 29 degrees. It's definitely at the very end of Sagittarius. I already mentioned Sagittarius represents freedom, expansion, truth, optimism. It's just this like expansive, fun, exploratory sign, okay? The sky's the limit. It's like, what's over the next hilltop? What's over the next hilltop, right? On top of that, we have Venus and Mars quite close to it. So I want to make mention of this because I think there's some other ways that you can work with the energy. So again, you've got this exploratory energy, optimistic, freedom seeking, and we're setting intentions for our life, all right? Venus is close by. It's just 4 degrees away. Venus represents love and pleasure. So I think it's important as you're exploring all of these ways that you want to expand, you want to grow, you want to have fun, you want to seek truth and freedom, that you do it in a way where obviously you're focused on what you love and what lights you up, okay? So that's Venus. There'll be another little aspect of Venus here in a minute. But also Mars. Mars just crossed over this point and it's now in Capricorn. So Mars in Capricorn is operating in a very functional way. I believe it's exalted actually in Capricorn, which means Mars is the planet of taking action and Capricorn gives it drive and focus. So it is working on making things happen and getting results. And so know that that is also there. So set big goals. And again, lean into things that you love and maybe things that you wouldn't normally think of. Maybe, this is a time to get really bold with your dreams for your life, especially again, as we are ending 2025. There's so many things ending, which we've talked about in the previous weeks. But now we are moving into 2026 as well, and all these new energies of 2026, right? 2025 has been the year of the snake in a Chinese astrology, so it's shedding the old skin. It's also a 9-year in numerology. It's an ending. 2026 is a beginning. So all these wonderful little synchronicities that bring us to using this new moon in just a really great way to chart the new course, right? That's where that message from the moon came from. All right. We've also got some tension with this new moon, which tension always is like, I don't like tension, but tension is what nudges us along. It's actually what compels us to take action. So it's really good and really helpful. Now we've got Neptune at 29 of Pisces, which is causing a square angle with the sun and the moon and Neptune. So I've talked about Neptune a lot recently, specifically Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. It's at the very end of Pisces. Neptune will be moving into Aries for good at the end of January 26th. We have one more new moon with Neptune in Pisces. So this one and the next one coming up in January, we have to make these count. You have to make them count. So what I would say with this is, when it comes to setting your intentions, ask yourself this question. Because Neptune, again, it's at this very final degree. It's called the anaretic degree of Pisces. It's akin to, it's giving it like it's all. It's pushing everything it can across the finish line. We want to get as much as we can out of this Neptune and Pisces energy. And so with those themes, higher mind, envisioning this great, big, expansive world, the dreams you have for your spirituality, setting those things into motion. What are you thinking is a bigger project, something that you can't quite get across the finish line? I would recommend infusing that into these intentions. And that's how to use that tension. It's this like, oh, I'm running out of time. I can't get it done, but I really want to. And this is my big dream. Okay, well, that's fine. Just alleviate that tension by infusing it into your dreams. The second angle of tension that we have is from Saturn at 25 Pisces. It's also aspecting the sun and the moon. It's a little looser, obviously, 28 degrees versus the 25, but it's making a direct square with Venus. When Venus and Saturn square off, it's this clash of love and responsibility. It's themes like, I love this, but I have to earn it in order to get it. Or I love this person, but what will people think? Because it goes against social norms or the unexpected. So that is the energy that is present. And all you're really called to do here is to be aware of it. And you can work with it in two different ways. So, okay, the key here is how you use it. Okay, so again, you're aware. There's this clash between love and responsibility. You want something, but you think that someone's going to have a rule around you getting it. So the first way to use it is, okay, I'm aware. I'm aware of this energy. I'm not going to let it get in the way of what I love. Because here's the thing, Venus is literally going to move on and the square is going to dissolve in 2 days. Okay? So that's one way to use it. The second way to use it is I'm aware and wow, get curious. How interesting. Sagittarius is also a very curious sign. How interesting that this is coming up, because maybe you can think of some themes going on in your life with this right now. And maybe this requires examination. Of course it requires examination. It's popping up. You could think, how many times has this come up? How many times have I backed down or given up on my dreams, on what I love? And you can question, have I actually done the Saturn work around this? And the fact that it just keeps coming up and it won't let go. Well, maybe that is my signal now that I've done the work. And this is truly what I want for myself. Okay. Now, the one other aspect that we have that is putting sort of the bow on all of these energies is from planet Uranus. Uranus is exactly at 28 degrees and it is making an exact quincunx. It's a very fancy word for an aspect that causes unexpected surprises. So it's making this angle with the sun and the moon at the new moon. And so literally we're getting an element of surprise infused into the new moon from the planet Uranus that is known for unexpected surprises. So with this new moon in Sagittarius, surprise yourself by going for the unexpected, the new and the different route, the new life that you want in 2026 and beyond, right? Capitalize on all this great energy of 2025, all the dissolving, all the things that have fallen away. And now you've got this beautiful new moon, again, this adventurous, fun, exploratory. Let's plan our new life. Let's, one of the things that you can infuse in your intentions, by the way, is the plan to take a trip. Saturn loves to travel. I'm sorry, Sagittarius loves to travel. So that'd be a wonderful thing to infuse. A big trip, maybe, again, one that you plan out with some of those dates. So have fun with this, and also know that then very quickly after, you've got some really great Capricorn energy that you can work with on just settling these intentions in and getting responsible about some of the basic first steps around it, right? You're planting the seed. Now let's really pat it into the soil, right? Settle it in and make sure it's good and stable. Okay. Now step 4. We're going to go back to our energy and set our intentions. Okay. So again, it starts with energy and it ends with energy. We always want to be aware of what's going on, but then we need to do the work. We need to get calm and quiet. We need to get our body into feeling the way that we want to feel. So when we write our intentions down, we always write them down in the present tense as if they've already happened. That's really good. What's even better is if, as you are writing them, you feel what it's like for them to already have happened. You're in the energy of experiencing every single thing that you're writing down. That is the ultimate goal. Okay. And again, go grab my free guide if you want a few more tips. There's 3 steps for every single phase. It's super easy, super repeatable, very foundational. Okay. That is the message from the moon on the Sagittarius new moon. Again, leave the past behind. Start charting your new course. Okay, 2026 is it's less than a month away. The future can start right now with your intentions here in the Sagittarius new moon. Okay. All right, I hope you found this helpful. If you have, please share it with someone you love who may also benefit. And I'd also love to hear from you if you feel so moved. What came up for you? And what's the new you that you are excited to dream into and get on board with energetically here and as you go into 2026 and beyond? All right, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And until next week, as always, take care.